What's up?
What's up?
How you doing, girl?
My back's a little tight.
Back is tight. Why? Why is your back tight? Wink, wink.
Huh?
Nothing. The homies out there know what I'm talking about. I have a black eye, but it's on my good side, and you guys always get to see my bad side on this podcast. But I have a black eye. What do you think? Make me look cool?
It's old now.
It's like yellow.
Yeah, that's an old black eye.
It's healing pretty quick.
It is. I'm surprised.
Why? I'm a freaking unit.
I thought that. I mean, you might still have some discoloration for like up to a week to 10 days.
I'm a unit. That's why it's
That's why you got it in the first place, right?
Yeah, but I took it like a champ. So basically what happened was we were at a grocery store and we got jumped and I had to defend my family. The guy had a knife, 3 guns, and a bomb strapped to his chest. And I took him out and I got away but scathed with one little, my mom threw a door in my face. That's what actually happened.
Why did your mom throw the door in your face?
Because of a prank that you told me to do.
I did not tell you to do that.
You, in fact, you did.
I did not.
I said, should I scare my mom? And you're like, yeah, scare your mom. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
You did. Yeah, you did. I scared my mom. I like to do this thing where I scare people.
All the time.
And I think that's just like normal stuff. The dogs are together.
How when I separated them?
Well, you must not have done the other one.
What are they doing?
Nothing. Snoop's on the other side of the living room. We'll see what happens. Our dogs are about to face off. We have our dogs finally living in the same house without being separated. We slept with both of them in our room last night. That was really cool. Look, yep, Flex is getting excited.
You better
Snoop's
go.
getting closer.
You better get in there.
No, he's fine. They're fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't think that Snoop has the balls. Literally, he's been castrated because she cut his nuts off, so he doesn't have the balls.
I didn't.
Well, he was neutered.
Yeah, before I got him.
So they're both neutered. They don't have the balls to do anything to each other. You get it?
Got it.
Get it?
They're also grandpas.
Nothing's gonna happen.
They're very old dogs, and they're both they have medical problems.
So anyway, on Saturday, my son clogged the toilet, like bad, super clogged the toilet, and
We don't know how, but we suspect.
I have no idea. Think he might have used wipes.
We think he might have used wipes.
I mean, if he's got that thing, if it's like raw, if he's like
and
raw
it
from
makes
wiping.
sense because the toilet was clogged at the same time that he was telling me to look at his butthole. So
Why does everyone have butthole problems here besides me?
I don't have butthole problem. Oh, I have that weird pressure pain. I don't know.
Anyways, so I asked my mom to bring a plunger over because it was like 9 p.m. and I didn't feel like running to Menards. She was still out. She was at my grandma's, so she brought us my grandma's plunger,
Which is a freaking tool, by the way. Did you see that thing?
One. Yeah, it's a
That's
beast.
a real plunger.
So she came over with it, and the more I think about it, the funnier I think it is because it was set up like you were sitting on the edge of the bed. So she came in and she was worried. She was like, "What's wrong?"
She's like, "What's going on?
What's going on?"
And
like,
I'm just like sitting on my phone smiling. And she's like, "What?"
So she genuinely like thought something was wrong because Heather's just.
She's like, "Where is he?"
And then so I come my head around the corner and I like go like like that, and then she first reaction is smacks the door and the corner of the door catches my eye.
Yep.
And I immediately was infuriated.
Huge goose egg at his eyebrow.
Yeah. It was gushing blood for a total of like 10 seconds.
It was not gushing blood. It bled a little bit.
There was so much blood on my arm. There's a
And then she proceeded to unclog our
as
toilet.
we proceed to give you what you need.
With that beast of a plunger, and
She unclogged it.
she unclogged it.
About 10 seconds, about the same amount of time that my eye was gushing blood.
Yeah.
Is
So
what
it
it
was
took.
quite a night. This was all about 10 p.m. at night. So, right?
I'm actually surprised the kids did not like wake up or react.
Yeah, it was a lot of commotion.
Mm-hmm. It was. The solar eclipse was today. Solar eclipse, not lunar.
Lunar.
No, lunar lasts for a couple hours.
Oh.
It was a solar eclipse today. And I still have yet to see the rapture happen or any giants awaken from the ground or feel a simulated earthquake.
Is that what you heard? Or you read on the internet?
So for anyone that doesn't know, I run in some conspiracy theorist circles. I like conspiracy theories. I've been into conspiracy theories since I was like 14 years old. I got indoctrinated by my aunt's sister. She like told me all about Behold a Pale Horse. Do you know what that is? It's a book basically about the end of times and this horse that the person rides on and like lets everybody know, like, you know, when they're like, the British are coming, the British are coming.
Sure.
You know that guy? Who is that? What's his name? You don't know? I don't remember his name either. So anyway, but
Sam Adams?
I don't think so.
I have no idea why I said that. I have no basis. No basis for that.
Wait, hold on. Hey Siri, who told the British were coming?
Who told? Who said? Who told us the British were coming?
Paul Revere.
Oh.
Oh, that makes sense. Ow. I don't know what that was. Anyway, To Behold a Pale Horse is a book basically on how like the end of times are going to come. And the pale horse, you know how I told you the Denver airport is super like conspiracy, like whatever? They have a statue of the pale horse on your way into the Denver airport. Yeah, big statue. So anyway, the conspiracy theorists online were saying that there's going to be like a big human sacrifice event during the lunar eclipse today. They're saying that it's biblical. It has all this meaning. The coming of Jesus is going to be today and all that stuff.
Andrea posted something about that on Facebook.
What'd she say? What was it?
Something about it was a Bible verse.
About the lunar eclipse? See, this is what like messes me up with like some Christians or like some like religious people is that they will take a verse, and I'm not saying that your friend did this, by the way. I'm just like using this as an example now. Is that especially in the conspiracy circles, because a lot of the conspiracy people are Christians, they'll take verses from the Bible and correlate it to whatever they can find to like correlate it to. It's like, how many eclipses have happened since we've been alive?
One happens every 18 months.
Yeah. So a bunch. So why this one? Because it happens every 40 years, this one did. So it's going to happen again in our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they will reach for anything. I was just like, I was just listening to this podcast where they're like, or maybe I read something, but they're like, conspiracy theorists will like be confronted on a claim that they made about something and then reach for something else and then reach for something else. So like, instead of explaining why the event that they said wasn't, or that they said was going to happen did not happen, they'll like explain about something else. So they'll like completely divert from the question, you know? But I think that people who aren't into conspiracies do the same thing when it's vice versa. So like, for example, the COVID vaccine, right? We're probably going to get, we're not monetized. So you can't demonetize us, YouTube. So screw you. Anyway, with the COVID vaccine and, you know, there's been an obvious uptick of just like random deaths since the COVID vaccine. So the conspiracy theorists are like, see, we told you that the COVID vaccine was going to happen, blah, 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 blah. But then the people who were for the COVID vaccine at first now are like, you can't say it's the COVID vaccine because there's no correlation from it, blah, blah, blah. The only correlation that you have is that after the COVID vaccine, people were dying, but it's not listed as the cause of death or anything. You know what I mean? Like, so they explain it away the same way that conspiracy theorists do. I think it's such BS.
Yeah.
You don't care about that, huh?
I don't know much about the conspiracy theorists, so I don't know.
You never were into any conspiracies? You've just kind of like lived life on normal mode?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as of late, I feel like there's a lot of like, you know, like the government, obviously, I know is just trying to keep us fat and sick. And nobody's really free and, you know, all that stuff. But I don't know anything specific, and I don't know like anybody, like I don't know names of people who are conspiracy theorists.
Oh, you would mean like thought leaders in the conspiracy world? Oh.
Like I don't know enough about it.
You don't know who Alex Jones is? You've never heard that name before?
I know of Alex Jones because of you.
Oh,
otherwise, no.
Got it. Yeah. I'd say like the two biggest names are Alex Jones and David Icke. Do you want to get educated on David Icke real quick?
Sure.
This one's wild. So he was a professional soccer player in Europe. And I'm pretty sure he turned into like a news anchor. I think this is how the story goes. He was either a news anchor or he was like a writer for some, journal or whatever. And he came up with the theory that the elites are like shape-shifting lizard people, and that lizard people live on the moon.
Yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, and he says that like Hillary Clinton and all those people are shape-shifting lizards, and this reptilian this reptilian species is trying to take over the human race type thing.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this, or Pauly or somebody brought it up or something. I can't remember.
I think that we were actually talking about it with Pauly.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I remember this lizard people thing from somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I don't know. My question is, I know where it comes from. It comes from, oh man, we could get down the rabbit hole. Let's do it a little bit. It comes from this like theory of this species called the Anunnaki, which the Anunnaki were, I guess, aliens from a different planet called Nibiru. And supposedly ancient Egyptian texts talk about this old civilization called the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki were involved with like, if I'm getting any of this wrong, please let me know in the comment section below, because I haven't read or listened to anything about this in a very long time. But they also helped with Atlantis. Do you know what Atlantis was?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of know.
Oh, gosh. Atlantis was like the future civilization of the past. So they were the ones who had all this technology, like flying cars and free energy, and they like ran a bunch of stuff off of like basically their currency was gold. Like they were the perfect civilization. What is that called when like it's like I think it starts with a U, utopia. It was like a utopia civilization basically, and something went wrong and they got wiped out. And people have been searching for it. Like mainstream scientists have been looking for Atlantis for years, because people like Socrates and Plato talked about this place called Atlantis. All these people talked about this place, and the Anunnaki supposedly was one of the civilizations that like had helped Atlantis jump forward and come up with this technology or whatever. And then David Icke just really took it super far. In my opinion, people probably are not shape-shifting lizards, and there's just such thing as evil in this world. And some people have a lot more of it than others do. Mm-hmm. What would you tend to think?
Yeah, I don't. Well, first of all, what's shape shifting? Like transforming?
Like transforming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that people are transforming into lizards.
No, lizards are transforming into people.
Lizards are transforming into people.
Yeah.
I just think that's there are people who have very bad morals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Evil people.
Do you think that do you think good and evil exists?
Yes.
What dictates good and evil?
I'm not sure.
This is a question that I had to debate a lot as an atheist when I was atheistic.
Yeah, I guess it depends if you are like religious or Christian or not, like if you believe in follow Jesus or not.
Because the concept,
It's a lot easier to say yes, there's good and evil if you follow Jesus, right?
well, I mean, the concept of good or evil can only be if there is a higher moral standard that you live by.
Yeah.
Right. So if there's no doctrine of morality that you live by, good and evil can't exist. So for example, well, not for example. So one of my old friends had told me a long time ago that he doesn't believe that good and evil exists, that people just are, that things are, and we have our own subjective opinion on whether or not it's good or bad. And what's really interesting about that is, like, atheists will live in a world of no good and no evil, but they still follow laws. Mm-hmm. Isn't that kind of interesting?
Yeah, and I would think that he would, like, having known this person specifically, that they do follow some type of moral code. You know,
do you think so?
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So I'm not gonna throw any shade because I don't think that I should throw shade, but I think that atheist people tend to not have. I don't really know how to say this without, like, sounding kind of like a dick.
Like, are they sociopaths? Is that, or what? Are you?
No, I don't think. I do not think that is a sociopath.
No,
Is that what you were saying?
No.
Or atheists?
Atheists.
Oh, I don't.
God.
I don't think that if you're watching this somehow, I don't think that, and I don't think anything ill of you. I don't think that atheists are sociopaths. I was an atheist. Am I a sociopath?
Did you when you were an atheist, did you think that there was no good or evil?
No, I didn't think that.
You didn't think there was any evil?
I didn't think there was no good and no evil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I knew that there was good and bad. And so that's what kind of leads me to believe, right, that but the only way that you can believe that is if you have some sort of doctrine that you believe in of what is good and what is evil, because you have to measure on the scale, right? It's like there's no fat or skinny if there's not, like, a health standard either. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no healthy, there is no unhealthy if there's no standard of what health is. So the positive aspect, there always has to be a positive, like a measure of what's positive in life for there to be a negative.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, no. What was your question? What did you ask?
I am not sure.
Or were we still riffing off of my question?
I said something about when you were atheist, did you think that? And I said, no, you didn't think that.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that. No, I think it's interesting because I've been listening to a lot of political debates as, like, the season is ramping up. See what team is gonna win, right? But I find that I am starting to side more. So I have been pretty conservative for, like, a while. I'm not shy about that, but I'm also, like, I would say super socially liberal.
Yeah, I think
right?
that's how a good amount of our well, no, I shouldn't say that. Most of the people that I surround myself with are.
I think a lot of people say that, but when push comes to shove, they're not actually socially liberal because they don't understand what being socially liberal requires. Like, you would have to be willing to give up a piece of your income for other people to thrive if you're socially liberal.
Yeah.
And I genuinely am willing to do that. So long as I'm making enough money, I am okay with, like, giving up extra money for other people to live decent lives. Like, I understand that drug addiction and stuff can be a person's choice. It's at least your choice to try the drug for the first time, right? However, being addicted to that drug is not your choice. Like, you did choose to try the drug as long as you're an adult, right? You have the understanding that this is what could happen to me.
Yeah.
But I do believe in autonomy as well. I don't think that the government should be able to tell you, like, I don't think that heroin should be illegal. Like, hot take. I don't think heroin should be illegal. I know you probably have different because of, But I don't think that it should be illegal. I think people should have full autonomy and decision over their own bodies and what they want to do with it. Now, if it's hurting other people, that really sucks. But if people can do it in a controlled environment where they're not hurting other people, they're not stealing from other people, stuff like that, I don't think it's...
That doesn't exist.
Yeah, for sure it does. Why?
How would they get money?
Huh?
How do they get money to purchase their heroin?
Drug addicts?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Should we go down there?
No, I'll tell you how they get money.
No, you have. Wait, you have an experience, but I've known.
I know, but I'm just saying. What do you think that the people? You think that a bunch of heroin addicts are just going to live together in harmony and like how are they going to fund that?
What do you mean live in harmony together?
Like you're saying, like if they're doing it in a controlled environment, not hurting anybody, but they will always hurt somebody because they.
No, there's other countries that have done these programs. You know that? Like there's other countries that have done programs. Where
Okay, how do they fund it?
That I don't know. I have no idea. What?
Yeah, they probably fund it from the government.
No, there's this neuroscientist. He's what's his name? He's a black dude. I forget what his name is, but he's part of this program. He has gone. I want to say it's Switzerland. It could be a different country. I don't remember. Wherever they have decriminalized all drugs, right? And he talked about on the Joe Rogan podcast. This is like years ago too, so this is why the information is not super fresh in my brain. But he talked about how there's a lot of people who are functioning and using heroin, going to work and going like having a family and all this stuff in these other countries. Like they're functioning and doing that. It's like the environment that you're in. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that that's probably the majority of people. I'm saying that it is possible. But what I'm saying is this: that's fine if it doesn't exist, right? Mm-hmm. We can play along with that if it doesn't exist. I'm saying if it could exist, I don't think that. I just don't believe the government should ever be able to tell you anything with your body.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay, fine.
And
I see your point.
Yeah, I know it sucks. It's terrible. But what I do believe is that social programs can help people who did fall into the trap of trying the drug, getting addicted. I think that social programs can help people get out of that rut. Mm-hmm. And the truth, like, I mean, seriously, how many homeless people are in Milwaukee addicted to drugs under the bridge?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? How many people are stuck in like a psychosis because they're just constantly doing drugs? Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that a lot of that could be mitigated with better social programs. Mm-hmm. You know? So, yeah, anyway. The whole point is, I think that most people say that they're socially liberal, but they don't actually understand what that means. A lot of people who like, especially people who are like me, who came from like nothing and they develop a like, they are able to get some money. They don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to give away money to people who are in the same situation as me. Selfishly, I didn't want to because I was like, dude, I did it. You can do it. But the thing is like everybody has an individual experience and not everybody has the same kind of motivation that other people have. Not everybody has the same circumstance as me where for some reason my messed up childhood made me motivated to do more. You know, some people get stuck in like the gang life and that's what they think is like the entire life.
Yeah.
That type of stuff, you know? So whatever.
Anyway.
As I'm listening to these political debates and stuff, I find myself siding more with philosophically consistent arguments than actual like policy stuff. So like I find myself wanting to side with people in the political sphere based on what their values are, like their actual core values are, instead of what they're saying they will do for the people.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I definitely get what you're saying.
The issue with that, though, I think, is that you only have 4 years in office, and that seems like a long time, but it's nothing. Mm-hmm. And so to like change the country, an entire country of 400 million, 500 million people, whatever we're at now, and to somehow make people happy just seems impossible.
And I feel like by the time you get to that level anyway, you're gone.
I don't think Donald Trump is gone.
You don't?
Nah, I don't. Do you?
I don't know. I don't think any of them are for the people.
I think the most for the people person that's out there right now is Kennedy.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know anything about
Yeah,
politics.
you don't know anything
so
about politics. I don't.
wrong audience.
Yeah. You're not the audience, though. They are.
Wrong. I don't know what you call me. Co-host.
Co-host for that. So anyway.
I can't. I know people are going to be like, oh, it's your responsibility, blah, blah, blah. But I can't. I have way too much to think about on a daily basis. Like, I would just get overwhelmed with stress if I
don't know how much I buy that, though, either. Right? It's your civic responsibility.
Yeah,
it's your
bullshit.
civic
It's
duty.
already decided. I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
there's
I
no
believe
point.
that, too. I believe that it's already decided.
already
I
decided.
only ever voted one time.
I mean, I voted, but it was pointless because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I only ever voted one time, and I felt like a freaking idiot after I did it. I walked in. I had one other election that I could have participated in before the the last one, and right for 8. How old am I? I'm 30, so maybe 3 elections. Whatever. I've only ever voted one time because every other election I was like, this is so stupid. And I would like, I remember one time I'm at my uncle's house and it was like the Barack Obama versus whoever. Was it McCain that he was running against? Whatever.
I think so, yeah.
I think it was Barack and McCain. I'm in high school at this point, so I could not vote for this one. But my cousins and everybody, they're all like, man, I can't wait for McCain. And I was a serious liberal at this point. And they're like, who do you think is going to win? I'm like, well, obviously Barack Obama. And they're like, why? Why? No, there's no way. Why do you think that? I'm like, history always repeats itself. Like there's certain patterns in history that you can look at and discern, like make an educated guess that's going to be more probable than something else. Mm-hmm. And at that time, throughout history and all that, like I've been into conspiracy theories, like I said before. I just knew that it was going to be Barack Obama. Aside from that, Barack Obama, to be honest with you, in my lifetime has probably been the most articulate president that we have ever had.
Yeah.
Like the most for the people, the best speaker, stuff like that. That doesn't mean that I agree with like anything now that he did, because I think back then I was a virtue signaler for sure. Mm-hmm. And now I can look at it from like a more adult standpoint and be like, wow, I don't agree with like anything this guy did. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then anyway, dude, he got elected president. I'm not lying to you. The entire basement was crying.
Really?
Yeah. I cannot believe how invested emotionally people get in things like politics, sports, religion. Even though I'm invested emotionally in religion, it could never ruin my day arguing with somebody about whether they think that Islam is right, Christianity, Buddhism, any of that stuff. It could never ruin my day. But I think it's such a waste of time and energy.
It is like interesting, like how emotionally vested people are in things that are like way, way out of their control, just not even reachable, you know?
Dude, you see grown men cry over football games.
Oh yeah, my brother used to all the time, Matt.
Well, he was a boy.
Yeah.
He wasn't a man yet.
Yeah, true.
But
He was younger.
you like, I have seen grown men throw tantrums over football games and like tear up over football games. And you see those videos of people on the internet where they're actually crying because their sports team didn't win. Mm-hmm. What kind of pussy are you that you're crying over a sport that you're not even involved in?
I don't know.
Where do you think that comes from?
I mean, I think people get really passionate about sports, like in America, like specifically. I think that
You've never seen soccer in Mexico or Europe.
yeah, I'm sure it's just like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just like American football, you know, like, or basketball or whatever you want to pick here. But, yeah, I think that's like culture. I think that's, I don't know.
You were really invested in football.
Yeah. I mean, I never cried because the Packers didn't win, but I was like disappointed, of course. But I didn't like cry over it. Yeah. I mean, it's like fun to see the team that you like win. So it's like disappointing when they don't win. I don't know about to the point of like ruining your life, but like,
How do you decide what team you like? So just context here. I've never been a sports fan, ever. I have never understood the point of taking time out of your day to watch other people do things that you want to do.
I mean, I think it's 2 or 3 things. So
I
first,
say that as I'm a fan of skateboarding
it's family.
and UFC.
So if your parents are fans of a certain sport, they'll probably teach you that. Second, probably where you live. So your geographical location. So, you know, you live in Wisconsin, Packer fan, you're Bucks fan, Brewers fan, whatever. Or third, you're just a kid and you pick a team that you like and you just roll with it.
You didn't play sports growing up, did you? Mm-hmm. What did you play?
I mean, I didn't play in high school, but I played, I like in middle school, I played like basketball, volleyball, softball. I played softball, like t-ball and softball, like all as a child.
Oh, you balled up. Mm-hmm. Played basketball? Mm-hmm. Was you crossing people over?
I don't remember being that good.
Was you breaking ankles?
Wasn't very good.
No?
No. And then I didn't do any sports in high school. I just did school. I was a nerd, kind of. I wasn't a nerd, but I was good at school.
You were a nerd.
No, I wasn't a nerd. I wasn't a nerd.
Okay. I think everybody that gets into the medical field was a nerd.
Whatever.
Kind of. Yeah. How important do you think school is?
If you're in the STEM field, it's important.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you think so? I'm starting to change my mind on that.
I don't know. I mean, okay. If you're going to go operate on someone, you better go to med school.
Yeah, duh. But, okay, just hear me out. And this might not be true. You've been in operating rooms. I haven't. Let's keep that in mind. Do you think that surgery and stuff like surgery could be, I don't want to sound stupid saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Do you think that surgery could be a learned thing, almost like a trade? Like years in the field?
Maybe.
Because, you know, like tradespeople, like I don't know how to, like plumbers and stuff, they have to go into the field, but then they also do school too. Mm-hmm. So they're doing both. Did you know that?
That's how med school is.
Yeah, but no, not the way that I'm talking about it. So like when you leave high school or you leave, like you go to your first year of college or whatever, to go into medicine, you have to do your first 4 years of school. You have to do pre-med, then you have to go to medical school, and then that's when you do your what's it called? So you go to medical school for like the 2 years or whatever, and then you go do your
go to residency.
That's how it goes. I'm asking, like a tradesman, PJ, plumber, as soon as he went to go to the trades and do plumbing, he was on the job, and then he was at night school. Do you think, again, I'm not in the medical field at all, do you think that that's something that could happen with like stuff like surgery or being a doctor and stuff like that? Because I personally feel like it's so prolonged. Who's going to want to do that?
Well, and that's why there's that's why there's PA school. It's literally mini medical school.
Yeah, but don't you think, okay, let's get in the weeds. Do you think that doctors are more needed than PAs? Or do you think that we could run a world with just PAs? Let's ask the question differently.
I don't think so. Because, so like, for example, to become a surgeon or like operate on somebody, obviously, you have to do a fellowship. Whereas PAs don't have to do a fellowship. You can just become a PA.
Can you get rid of fellowship though by doing?
But fellowship is your trade. It's your on the job training.
But could you get rid of, like, I just feel like I could be wrong, but I'm trying to hit this at all angles. Could you get rid of all the BS in the beginning?
Okay, so yes.
My biggest gripe with physical therapy school. So I went to school initially for physical therapy, and then I transitioned to the neuroscience program, right? And and I didn't finish either. But
Sweet.
yeah. Well, we're not all blessed with cash, right? I had to leave school so I could actually make money. And I also never wanted to be in school in the first place. I learned to like
I didn't
school.
have any money either. I just got done paying it all off.
I learned to like school when I went to school. That's how I learned to like school through college. Yeah, but you liked school. You had a tendency towards that type of thing.
Yeah, like I'm
and
good
you
at
came from a more affluent background than I did. You know, if you needed to drop out and needed somebody to lean on, you probably had that, right? Anyways, what was I saying? Could you get rid of all the BS beforehand? Because my biggest gripe with physical therapy was like, why can't I just go straight to the program? This is so stupid. Why do I have to take social justice,
Yeah.
104?
Yeah, I agree. I think that med school could be revamped for sure. Like, does a dermatologist need to know how to deliver a baby or what the nuances of like having a baby are or like being pregnant or no?
Do they learn that?
Yeah, they have. As a physician, you have to learn everything. Even as a PA, I had to do every specialty.
So is dermatologist the medical
Not
doctor?
specialty, but I had to do all of the like basics. And then, but like PAs can go into any specialty.
This might be a stupid question. Dermatologist is a medical doctor? That's just a specialty of
Yeah.
medicine?
Yeah. So they do their own fellowship. So you want to be an electrophysiologist, you do a fellowship. You want to be a dermatologist, you do a fellowship. If you want to do like internal medicine, hospitalist, or like, I don't know, family practice, if you do a fellowship, you don't have to do a fellowship. You can graduate after residency, you're a physician and you can practice as a physician.
So all this though, right? It's mind blowing to me, right? That you have to go through all this stuff. And there's people on the internet that I feel like are more educated than doctors are.
I feel like school could definitely be expedited and geared towards a specialty. Instead of like, it's just hard because it's like fellowships are like hard to get into, and probably the most needed type of physician is like an internal medicine or family practice. Family practice, probably physicians are like in the most need.
Yeah, I feel like, and yeah, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think that that's true. Like your PCP is probably the most important doctor that you can have in your life, right? Your primary care. But I feel like they're not really that important because they don't really do anything.
Well,
At
they
least
don't-
now.
They don't do anything because our medical system is entirely, completely
Yeah. So do you
flawed.
think that that's a medical system thing, or do you think that's a lack of wanting to educate yourself problem? So, because I've been going back and forth on this. There's a lot of people.
I think it's both. I think it's the way that we are trained or the way that we're like brainwashed.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. So do you think that you guys are brainwashed into allopathic medicine, which is like the
Absolutely.
That's the traditional way of medicine.
Yes.
Like because when I met Heather, she didn't believe any of my hippie stuff, any of it. And then I have somehow been able to, maybe I'm a little bit more educated than I would like to believe, but I've somehow, I feel like, helped convert you to like allopathic medicine is good for like a lot of things. Like
Yes.
emergency medicine we're the best in the world. America, best in the world. But like, I remember you and I had this argument about like root cause and like doctors not wanting to treat the root problem. And you were saying that they did. And we like got into like kind of a heated debate about this. And I was like, no, Heather, they literally don't treat root cause. All they're doing is giving you medication. It's a Band-Aid. And you were like upset by that, rightfully so, because it's your whole life. This is what you've been doing for the majority of your life, right? And you have an emotional tie to it. I don't have an emotional tie to it. I think that's why that's why I can't get upset about it. You know what I'm saying? But I can also look at it from more of an objective view. Now I think you look at it from a super objective view. But my argument is, right, that I don't know, like, I don't think I'll ever go to a doctor again because like all the information is out there on the internet for the most part. And like, it's hard to figure out who to listen to and this, this, that, and the third. But there's a lot of doctors too, I should say, that are going the more, I don't want to say naturopathic route because because I think those dudes are quacks too, to be quite frank. But I think a lot of doctors are kind of taking more alternative medicine type, like more preventative care and root cause care. A lot of people are reaching outside of the system to like treat people better.
Yeah.
So you think it's like more of a brainwashing thing than it is anything?
Yeah. I mean, it's just all memorization.
Yeah.
There's nothing, it's like when I go take my boards, like the way that I answer the questions to pass the exam is so different than like practicing medicine. And I think at least as like hard of a time as I have like currently with sometimes the way that some of my docs are like that were kind of like forced to practice medicine in the hospital. I'm at least in the more hands-off specialty of all the specialties in the hospital. And I mean this because like, so like, for example, you have a very elderly patient in their 90s and they had some major surgery and they can't tolerate it. They can't eat. They're on IV nutrition. They're not getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Our hospitalist philosophy, our team would be more geared towards like, okay, let's back off on stuff. Let's talk to the family. Let's try to go home. Whereas
Like let them die.
yeah, some of the other specialties are like, they're doing great from a surgical standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. Like they like, and some of the other specialties, especially whatever specialty they might be, they're kind of like, oh no, they'll be fine. They're fine. They can do this. They can, it's, whereas like as a hospitalist, we're looking at the patient as a whole. Granted, there is still a lot of medicine involved that I don't always agree with, but I will say that some of my docs do like are cool with like, okay, less is more. Some of them are a little bit more like, oh, let's pill push, but it just kind of depends. So yeah, I think that especially when it comes to like specialty diagnoses or like specialty things, like the way that you answer a question in a textbook is like, that's how you answer your question on the boards is like whatever you read in the textbook. That might not be what we do in real life kind of thing. And there is certain things that we do that way, like what's best practice or what's evidence-based or whatever. And I do believe in a lot of that stuff. Like I think there is certain things, like there's certain risk factors, viruses, things that are more prone to cause like disease or like cancer. And I think like having that stuff looked at, like a colonoscopy, like
I'll never get that. That's so gay.
a colonoscopy is
Just kidding.
it sucks to kind of go through and it's minimally invasive, I guess, but like it could literally save your life. It's literally looking at your colon. Is there a mass in your colon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that there are certain things in like, our American medical preventative supposedly system that are good. I don't think it's all bad.
I think no, for sure not. A lot of the preventative care that they do, like colonoscopies, yeah, for sure. A colonoscopy is probably a good, safe bet.
And that's just an example. I mean, like
I'm gonna
all
go with,
the cancer screening stuff.
I'm going with your example though.
Yeah.
Like a colonoscopy is probably a good, safe bet. Now, how they treat whatever might be going on though, if they find something, may not be the good, safe bet. My other question is this. And I've only ever had this question since my friend who is an orthopedic spine surgeon told me this answer one day. I'm really curious as to what is evidence-based medicine and what's evidence-based practice, because even you have a friend that one of the first times that I met her, like basically thought I was a quack because I had an opinion on a certain nutrient or whatever, right? And she's also a PA. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
whatever. It was whatever. Okay. It doesn't matter. But to me, what is evidence-based? What does that mean?
Evidence-based means
I know what it means. I want you to answer it though.
Oh, it means that it was like studied in clinical trials.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of evidence for the medical community to, or whatever society, I don't know, American Medical Society, whatever, to suggest a treatment plan or something.
My question is though,
Or to not suggest, to implement. I don't know, whatever you want to say.
I get what you're saying. So my question is though, are placebo, like, double-blind placebo, stuff, or like controlled trials, like those are the only things that dictate whether something's evidence-based practice or not? Because one of my friends who said this to me is, he goes, sometimes anecdote, I'm trying to remember exactly how he said it. He goes, sometimes anecdote is the only thing that you have to go off of to save someone's life.
100%. We practice off label all the time.
And is that evidence-based?
No.
No, it is. Because you have evidence to suggest that this might be what's going on. So like my problem with a lot of this evidence-based medicine.
But evidence-based, you're taking it as like the definition of evidence-based. Like, oh, of course you have evidence. But what I'm taking it as like the literal medical meaning of evidence-based.
Yeah, I am too.
No, but you're taking it as, oh, but there was this other evidence of that. There was evidence that this particular thing worked. I'm saying evidence-based medically. I'm not saying you're wrong. I also believe that too, but
no, I know
I'm just saying that evidence-based is a medical term, means that it was studied in some type of capacity and is like approved.
No, I know. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
But a lot of doctors won't, I think what something that medicine is really missing the ship on is that everything needs to have a double-blind controlled trial. It needs to have, it needs to have a bunch of study and research behind it. But sometimes the research that you do is the trial that you do, right? So a lot of doctors, do you know what the process of methylation is? Do you know what methylation means in the body?
No.
Okay. So I'm not going to explain it. I'm not going to go over it. But you know that I've been like into this for a while, the methylation thing. There's bodies of evidence that suggest that methylation and making sure that your homocysteine and stuff, like the levels that you have, are super, super important and conducive to like mental health, emotional well-being, strength, like actual physical well-being, stuff like that. But it's never something that's talked about in doctors' offices, at least, people who are traditional allopathic medicine, because it's not evidence-based enough. But there's like bodies of research that suggest that it is super important. The other thing too is that a lot of doctors until recently wouldn't acknowledge the existence or possible existence of leaky gut, actually having damaging to the lining of your stomach, and that, certain toxins and stuff from your stomach would like leak into your bloodstream and like cross the blood-brain barrier and like affect your mental well-being or even your physical health and like produce a whole bunch of symptomology or whatever. Now it's becoming more and more mainstream to say the gut and the mind and the body are all connected, and you should have good gut health to have good mental health, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But because it wasn't studied enough at one point, it wasn't evidence-based and people weren't putting it into practice.
Yeah, you want to know why?
Why?
Because they're afraid
That what they were taught was...
that they'll get sued.
Okay, why?
They practice off-label or practice, out of turn. Oh, it's not evidence-based. I can't suggest that because they're afraid that they'll get sued. I'm sure. I can guarantee you that there's doctors out there and stuff who believe in that or do practice that, and like who work for medical systems just because they're more ballsy than other ones. But everything in the medical system is concerned about getting sued. Everybody is worried about it.
Do you think, though, that it could be, too, that some of you guys are like, I don't mean to lump you in with them, but some of them are just so indoctrinated that they couldn't believe that anything that's not in their textbook isn't real?
Yes, I do believe that, too. Yeah. but I'm saying that I do believe there's probably a spectrum of them.
Yeah.
So there's people who definitely don't believe it. There's people who believe it but won't practice it because of fear of getting sued. There's people who practice exactly to a book, exactly to evidence-based because of fear of getting sued. And then there's probably people out there who may suggest that or do that for certain patients or whatever. And yeah, they're not afraid of like getting ostracized for it or something, but I'm sure there's just a spectrum of them.
Because I always like try to like, I like think about, you know, who the first people are to like start things too. You know, like one thing that I was really interested in last week was, who is the first person to be like, this person's neck is in pain. I'm going to just twist it really fast.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because that seems like something you get sued over. Well, actually, probably not, because the person would just be dead.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, that's a whole nother thing with that. But I don't know.
I just like
That's a whole another camp.
one of my like biggest fears with like the medical community is just that they have a lack of wanting to try things because the science hasn't caught up yet. When there's a big enough body of evidence in the way of anecdote that would suggest that maybe some things have validity to them.
Yeah, I think that now, like in the like, I think that we only see, kind of like practicing medicine in that way when they're like as last ditch effort. That's what it feels like to me, like currently. Like, oh, we're going to do this by the book, and then none of that works, or they get worse or whatever. Now it's like, oh my God.
Don't you think that it should be the opposite way though? Because I've told you about like some of my people with POTS, how they have cycled medication after medication after medication. Never once have they been talked to about, hey, let's try some sort of like exercise program to get you better. Let's like try revamping your diet. Let's heal your gut. Let's heal your traumas to your body that you might have. Not that I heal people's traumas. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that. But with my POTS clients that I have, it's a chronic illness. For those of you that didn't watch the last episode, watch the last episode. But for the people that I coach, I always go over their diet. I go over their hydration status, how they supplement with electrolytes, and their exercise routine.
Yeah, I mean, literally all of that's everything. That's all of our problem. That's our entire country's problem, and why people are sick is because of their diet and lack of movement. But doctors will be like, yeah, exercise, eat a healthy diet, but no one knows what that means.
Yeah, and I think
not even them.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I thoroughly enjoy going into a hospital and being treated by a fat doctor.
Oh, you should see how quickly Candy goes through our office.
It's so disturbing.
Instantly gone.
It's like you're treating people that probably had like diabetic shock while eating a Snickers bar. Yeah. That's like crazy to me that they see all the disease, they see all the dysfunction that the human body can go through, and they still participate in it. That's crazy to me. Yeah, I don't know. That's wild. So I guess, what was the original question?
Because we're all just Sims living in this world, and
yeah, basically
you're a doctor and that's what you do. But it's just like we're all the same.
So to go back.
Well, not us.
To go back to the original question though was, yeah, we're not sheep. You are. To go back to the original question, do you actually think that medical school is required?
It's a hard question for me to answer.
I'm gonna leave it on this for my opinion. Okay, I don't think that it is. The only reason why I say that is because there are people out there. There are people out there. And the Reddit threads are crazy. And I don't go through the Reddit threads. But like, there's this dude, Derek More Plates, More Dates. That's what his channel is. I've been following him for years, and anybody that's listening to this probably knows who Derek is, at least knows of his channel. But he has his own clinic, and obviously he's not a practicing physician because he's not a medical doctor. But he has physicians that work with him, and he gets like a say in like the treatments and stuff that go on at his clinic. It's like a telehealth thing, but they're doing like amazing work. It's a telehealth thing that is focused on preventative care and longevity. But the reason why he started this is because he went down the rabbit holes of learning the literature and figuring out stuff for himself. Like he had questions about drug use, like steroids and all that. And because of his interest in compounds and all that, it took him down the longevity route. And he like learned about stuff like methylation and gene types and stuff like that. And so anyway, he's super educated, and like he's done podcasts with Peter Attia, who is the guy that Matt is super interested in, the doctor. He said the longevity. He's the reason that he got that cancer screening and stuff like that. This doctor. Okay. But he's done podcasts with him. He can hang with these people in conversation. So like that's where I tend to think like, I don't know, with the amount of data and information that's out there, I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah, I think for that, for from a preventative standpoint, definitely not.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to. I don't think. I think for certain specialties, especially anything surgical, obviously you need prolonged training.
Yeah.
Because the body, you could kill somebody, with a slice of the wrong thing.
100%. Yeah.
So I think that is really important. And I think like the big organ, like your run of the mill person, I guess they could learn how to do dialysis without med school, I guess. I don't know. I think that there's certain things that
I guess we'll call it a health coach.
I think that you could do what our country needs: preventative care, diet education, movement education,
probably like nutrient therapy.
Yes, nutrients, preservative, whatever, like all the chemicals, heavy metals, all that stuff. I think that's what our country needs. I don't think that you have to go to medical school for that.
Yeah. I think that the majority of our problems come from human fixable issues.
Yeah.
Right. So like I could probably tell you how to detox heavy metals from your body. If I was your coach, I could probably tell you, hey, if you have this type of mutation, like this type of SNP in this gene or whatever, like these are the nutrients that would probably do well for you. If you're feeling these symptoms, you can take these vitamins or whatever, but definitely not medications and things of that nature. Like I'd be like, hey, you should probably sauna 3 times a week if you feel like you have heavy metal toxification.
Yeah. And I mean, I think
oh, I just sat on my bottle. I kind of didn't like it. I didn't like it.
No, I don't even know what I was going to say because that was so ridiculous.
We were talking about not needing an education for detoxing, sauna.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that would be my stance is medical school is definitely necessary for specialties. But I think from a primary care standpoint or internal medicine standpoint, what our country needs is true preventative care, not evidence-based preventative care. Maybe some of it, colonoscopy, mammogram, that kind of stuff. But I think that, the thing that we need is movement, diet, nutrients, avoiding chemicals, all that kind of stuff. And you don't need medical school for that.
Which is interesting, though, because to me, that means then that actually the more important people, aside from doctors, are your personal trainers and your health coaches, your dietitians.
And guess who's doing this?
Who?
McCoy.
Yeah. That's true.
He literally said, I don't think you need to be a provider to offer this, type of education to the people in your gyms or your clinics or whatever.
But I will say this too. There's a lot of, and we're gonna wrap up here now soon. But there's a lot of really, really stupid personal trainers and health coaches that I am so just mind blown by, that they have clients and that they're even able to practice what they practice. Like, I have seen the most ridiculous health advice out there before, or even fitness advice. I do believe that there needs to be some sort of standard to be held, by the way. So I'm not just saying that you should trust any dude who's, and we have to put this in here. I'm not just saying that any dude who read a bunch of Reddit threads you should listen to. I do think that there should at least be a certification program or something like that in order to like do these things.
You need the education. You can't just like look at Wikipedia.
But you need to be able to, prove that you've had the education too.
Right.
So like,
something standardized.
Yeah, because somebody could like sound really good and babble a bunch of stuff off to me about what they learned on the internet or whatever, but they don't have like at least a piece of paper or something to tell me like, hey, I went through a course. I did this.
Spent like 6 months learning this.
Like, then I'm gonna be skeptical, that type of thing.
Yes, for sure.
Like, I don't think that personal training certificates mean all that much, to be honest with you, but I have like 7 of them just so people trust me more.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I think it shows that like you actually care about telling people the truth.
Yeah. And I do care about that. That's the number one thing that I care about. So anyway, yeah, this is an interesting one.
I know. I don't even know how.
Went from conspiracy theories to politics and religion all the way down the rabbit hole of medicine. So I hope you guys did like this episode.
It was good.
Yeah. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Like the video if you did like it. Subscribe if you are new. We know that you're new, and we'll talk to y'all in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.
Bye.